Hi, I'm Kayla Parker, Campus Ministry Associate at the UUA, and I'm so glad you all are tuning in for our second series in our Best Practice in Campus Ministry series that are generally done in webinar format, but we're trying out recording them just so that folks who weren't able to log on to the webinar will be able to watch it from home. And today we have Betty Jean Reuters-Ward, who is the Youth and Young Adult Program Coordinator at Shelter Rock, at the UU congregation of Shelter Rock, and also on adjunct faculty at Star King School for the Ministry. And she'll be talking to us today about her own experience of growing up Unitarian Universalist and what her experience was like in college, as well as her involvement now as the Youth and Young Adult Program Coordinator at Shelter Rock. She's specifically going to talk about a long-distance campus ministry program that they all have that has been hugely successful and has been a program that's happened for a while and has been making some new and exciting changes. Thanks so much, Betty Jean, for being here today. And I know that you have so much information to share with us all today, and I'm so excited. And just so that you all know, the structure of this will generally be that Betty Jean's going to give some personal information about her journey and how she got here. And then we'll talk some about what young adult and campus ministry looks like at Shelter Rock. And then she'll be talking a little bit more about a specific long-distance campus ministry program that they have there. So, Betty Jean, I know that you're a lifelong UU and have been very involved with Unitarian Universalism from a young age. How did this lead to the work that you're doing today?
I don't even know where to begin with that question, because it's so clear to me from my own experience and also from peers of mine that grew up Unitarian Universalist that that upbringing really informs who I am, what I do, the choices that I make. I feel as though folks who are raised Unitarian Universalist, the vast majority that I've worked with, because they internalize the faith at an early age, it's an intrinsic part of them, and it's very hard to separate whether or not they're formally involved in congregations. Mm-hmm. So while my involvement has been very continuous and deepening through my youth and young adulthood, I think that's true for other folks who aren't as formally involved, that the faith informs the personal and the professional choices that we make. It informs how we build relationships. It informs how we commit our gifts to the common good, and it informs how we make meaning of our lives. So for me specifically, I grew up and was very active at First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Arlington, Massachusetts. I speak very lovingly about my experience there, feeling as though I was truly raised by and mentored by a multi-generational community that was united by covenant rather than creed. In my Unitarian Universalist upbringing, I learned to think freely and responsibly from a young age. I learned to serve others lovingly. I learned to believe in my gifts. Other folks believed in my gifts a lot longer before I did, and they taught me how to commit those gifts to the wider good. I feel like some of the biggest things that I took from growing up in a congregation was that sense of relationship and connection with all ages, of having something to offer and to gain from people who were older and younger than me. The frame that I learned from my congregation was that we are all lifelong learners, we are all lifelong teachers, and we are all lifelong leaders. And I think that really shaped my sense of who I was in the world. I like to think that I was loved into leadership from an early age through being a participant in the religious education program. In high school, I was a teacher in the program. I was involved in a lot of multi-generational events and activities, committee work, preaching, public speaking, music, worship, community service, you name it. Had a really balanced experience and felt that there were a lot of on-ramps in my congregation that welcomed my involvement again and again. What I really took from my faith upbringing was a profound and deep link between spirituality and social justice. I've really made radical social action one of my deepest spiritual practices, and I know a lot of folks who are raised UU for whom that's the case as well. For us, faith is and must be an action. I particularly got this from youth-led communities. I was very active in my congregation, which was quite multi-generational, but my experience was also shaped by being in a youth group that was very strong, that had excellent youth leadership and adult support. and being involved in district and continental youth conferences, there was this sense that we were in a very unique, safe, and sacred space where we could live our faith into reality, that in those youth spaces we had a laboratory for living our progressive values. So those are some of the many things that I got from my UU upbringing, and it's very clear day to day that has impacted who I am.
Great, thank you so much.